Hello, everyone. Can everyone hear me all right? All right, I'm going to begin. So welcome to the judging for the 2019 Globe International Virtual Science Symposium. So I want to thank you all for being here and thank you all for volunteering to judge for this year's IVSS. So I'm Amy Barfield. I work at the Globe Implementation Office in Boulder, and I'll be presenting today. So first I'm going to just go through some slides, and then I'll leave some time at the end for questions. But in the meantime, if you do have any pressing questions, you can type them in the chat. And I'm here with Sarah Parsons in Boulder, and I'll hand it over to her to introduce herself.
Yeah, hi everyone. You've probably been in touch with me via email about all the correspondence for the program. Thank you so much for your help, and I'll be here with our leader, Julie, helping answer questions on the side if you have them. If we can't get to them, we'll answer them at the end.
Thanks, Sarah. All right, so just a quick overview. So we have about 210 entries this year, which is a really big year, so really exciting. And so we wanted to try to get about 3 judges per project, and we were able to do that. So thank you all of you judges. So our entries will include a research report and a presentation of some sort. So that presentation is going to be either a video or a poster or something else. And there might be some projects that don't have that presentation, and you might only have the research report to go on. We had a couple of things going on this year. So if there isn't a presentation, please just go ahead and just judge on the research report. But if there is a presentation, please look at it. A lot of effort goes into those posters and those videos, so please include those when you're scoring. And so those first 2 things, the research report and the presentation, will be judged on a basis of 1 to 4 stars, and that will get a student research badge. And so that's that I am a student researcher badge that you see right next to it. And then each project can get up to 3 additional badges. And so those are optional, but if they explained it in their project or in their report how they earn these, they can get those. So those badges are: I'm a collaborator, I make an impact, I am a STEM storyteller, I am a data scientist, I am an engineer, and I am a STEM professional. So if they exhibit collaboration efforts, if they talked about how they collaborated with students in their school or with another school or maybe with a scientist, they can earn the I am a collaborator badge. If they do something that impacts their community and they explain that, they can earn the I make an impact. If they are really creative in how they talk about their research, whether it be through poetry or dance or just a really well thought out story, they can earn that STEM storyteller badge. If they include data science or maybe some statistical analysis, they can earn the I am a data scientist badge. If they come up with a creative engineering solution to an environmental project or problem, they can earn the I am an engineer badge. And if they collaborate with or was mentored by a STEM professional or perhaps learned about a STEM career, they can earn the I am a STEM professional badge. And so you can find more information about those badges on the website, but keep those in mind. And so students might opt to earn those additional badges. So quick overview of the timeline. So this is really important. So today we're doing our webinar. It's the 25th of April. And after this webinar, Sarah's going to email you all your judging sheets. So that'll have all the projects that you're going to be judging. And you have until May 5th to review and score the projects and ask student questions and provide feedback for the students. And on May 5th, all of those scores are due, but you may hear from me or Sarah before then. And on May 17th, we'll provide the scores and the feedback provide the scores and the feedback to the teachers, and we'll post your badges on your My Pages or your school's pages. And on the 17th, we'll also do a drawing for stipends. So what do you need in order to judge? So you'll need, there's a few required elements that are all present in the projects that you'll be scoring. So we'll have a project title. You'll want to look at the grade band rubric. So we have projects that range from kindergartners all the way through undergrads. And so we have different rubrics for the different grade bands. So you're not judging, a first grader the same as you would a 16-year-old. So please refer to the correct grade when you're scoring. The requirements are slightly different for each different grade band. You'll want to look at your Google scoring form. So that's a Google form that'll walk you through all of the how to judge, and I'll go over that a little bit more detail later. You'll need your globe.gov login, and if you need any help accessing this, email help@globe.gov. And I suggest right after this webinar, you just make sure that you have your globe.gov login. And if you don't, that's when you'll email help@globe.gov. And if you don't have a globe.gov account, you'll get information on how to log in this as a Globe scientist. So you don't need an account to score. But if you do have an account, please use that. And if you do use the Globe Scientist account, which is just kind of an anonymous general user, please sign your name. And you'll be emailed information on all of this in a little bit more detail right after this webinar. So the project sheet I mentioned in the last page, it'll look something like this. It might look a little bit different, but this is just an example from last year. And so it has all of the information that you'll need. So you'll have who the students are, any other contributors, where they're from, and the project title. And so when you're looking for the projects, you're going to want to type the title in verbatim. So exactly, using the right punctuation or capitalization, and that's the best way to find the projects. And then also take a look at the badges, those optional badges that these students can earn. And so I included a video here on how to find the projects. So I'm going to play that right now to help you find the projects. So you go to Do Globe, and then you can find it under the Research and Resources and select Student Research Reports. And then you'll want to use that Filter By button. Make sure to select 2019. And the research report, please include both standard research report and IVSS. So a lot of the reports were uploaded in that standard research report. So please just make sure to include those when looking for your reports this year. All right, so here it is again, just a screen grab. So you can either go to that Research and Resources tab or the Student Research Reports. Both are highlighted there by the orange arrow, and that'll bring you to the same page. So you can use either one of those entry points. And just a reminder, you want to filter to 2019. And if you're looking for a specific project, you might want to use other filtering tools such as the region or country and the grade level. And all that information is on your judging sheets. And then also please make sure to select both the standard research report and the IVSS reports. And here is a screen grab from last year. You may also find some of the reports on the IVSS page, but like I said, we have a lot of reports that are listed under standard research reports. So you might not see all of the reports that you're looking for if you just search on that IVSS page. But you can still find reports that way as well. And they also have that filtering tool to filter it based on region and country. And so here's just an example of a research report from last year, and it looks basically the same this year. So if you filter it by year and the organization or the country, it'll pop up with that filtering. Last year we only had one from Brazil, so that was pretty easy. So you can look at that there. And here's what when you select that report, this is what it will look like. So you'll see some information, all that same information that's on your judge sheet. You'll want to use this View Research Report to find the research report, and then also make sure to look if they have a presentation and look at that as well. And that is all on that globe.gov/Science Symposium website that you see up on the upper right-hand corner there. So another thing you'll want to do is ask, you can provide some comments or ask some questions to the students, and this is public. So when you're filling out the Google form, that's going to be all private feedback, private and anonymous feedback. And this is sort of our public face to it. So you can add comments here. Usually these are going to be, maybe questions about the research or next steps, things like that. And that Globe Scientist account, if you don't have a globe.gov account, you can still post those comments there using that Globe Scientist account, but just make sure to sign your name so we know who's writing those questions and comments. So as I mentioned earlier, you want to make sure that when you're scoring, you're looking at the correct rubrics based on the grade. So you can find that when you're on the IVSS page, so that globe.gov/Science Symposium, on the left-hand side, you'll see this bar, and so you'll select rubrics and badges, and that'll pull you up to this second page where you can see all the rubrics that are broken down by grade. So you can see we've got kindergarten through second grade, which is also lower primary, ages 5 through 8. Third through fifth grades, which is also upper primary, ages 8 through 11. Sixth through eighth grades, or middle school, ages 11 through 14. And 9th through 16th grades, high school and undergraduates, ages 14 to 18. And then there you'll also see the badges. So I mentioned those earlier. Those are the optional badges that each student can earn, up to 3 of. So now the actual judging process. So there's a Google form to enter your scores. And so you'll be sent the link for those right after this webinar. And you want to fill it out for each project. So you might submit multiple forms or multiple entries on the form based on how many projects you're scoring. And you'll want to fill it out completely for each project. So one's for each project. And so this is what it looks like. This is the top of it. And as you can see, you can it'll link you to the rubrics. It'll also link you to the optional badges. We'll get to that in a minute. You'll have some required elements that you'll need to fill out: your email address, your name, the country where the project is from, and the project title. And once again, please use that exact, copying and pasting that title exactly, and also the grade the student is. And I'm going to remind you once again to look at the right rubric. And then you'll want to give it a score between 0 and 4 stars. So 4 stars means it has all the required elements. Everything is really well done. You can see, how we break those down up here, the 1 to 4 stars. So please take a look at that when you're scoring and provide a score on 1 to 4 stars. And then provide feedback to the student. And so this feedback is going to be sent to teachers. It will be anonymous. And so this is where I'll talk a little bit more about the feedback in a minute here. And then, like I mentioned, you can get up to 30 additional badges if the student has described how they've earned it in the report. And if a student hasn't selected any additional badges that they've tried to earn, or if they've selected 2 and you think that they've really clearly described a 3rd one in their project, you can go ahead and assign them a badge if you think that they have clearly demonstrated or described how they've earned it in their report. So even if they didn't select it, you can select it. But please keep in mind there's only an option for 3. And when you finish filling it out, you'll get this, you'll see this page. And so you can maybe edit your response. If you thought right after sending it, you're like, oh no, I think I want to say something else or say more, you can edit your response. But you can only do that immediately after submitting it. And you can only edit the project that you've just submitted, or you can submit another response. So if you're judging 3 projects, you'll probably fill this form out 3 times, and you can keep submitting it one after the other, or you can access the form again later if you need to take a break between projects. All right, so a few notes on judging. First of all, if you have volunteered and you realize that you just can't complete as many projects as you have volunteered for, or something comes up, we understand. Life gets really busy. So just please let Sarah know as soon as possible, and we can assign those projects to different judges. Keep in mind that these are students and they've worked really hard, and that, we want to be constructive and provide feedback that'll help them develop, but we don't want to just, tear them down and make them feel really bad. And also just please consider different grade levels. The projects that they're going to produce are going to be different based on their grade level. Feedback is going to be sent to the students. It will be anonymous, so just keep that in mind. But if you want to say something publicly, that's when you can use that comment feature on the projects page. And another thing to keep in mind is a lot of these projects are projects from all over the world, and they may not have, they may not be perfect English, but we're focusing on the content rather than the grammar. So if their sentence structure isn't perfect, but they're really describing something well and they have really good, science behind it, please keep that in mind when you're scoring. Make sure to also check for the presentation too. Not all of the projects have a presentation, but if they do, please consider that when you're scoring the projects as well. And if you can't find a project or think something is not correct, please let Sarah know right away. And so what I've done here is included an example comment that was from last year, and I thought it was really well done. So the comment says, hello? Your research topic is a very important one. It focuses on the dangers that pesticides may have on the much needed agriculture in your area. With that said, it was interesting to find out some of the It was interesting to find out that some of the treated plants even change color due to the pesticides, which is very disconcerting. I love that you integrated the expertise of local farmers as they get a firsthand look at how their crops react to what is in the soil and in the water within their growing fields. As you mentioned, it is truly important that you have addressed the need for those involved to seek out other alternatives to this pesticides, including Deltarid. I hope that you will take this to your local environmental leaders and show them this data. One thing I would like to have seen is better organization of the poster you have presented. I noticed different fonts and sizes and no real order to the text boxes. Thank you for a good project, and I'm looking forward to seeing more research in the future. And so what I liked about this comment is I thought that it did a really good job of highlighting the strengths of the project, and then provided some suggestions that were very constructive, so things that a student can actually work on. And in this case, it was more on the aesthetic side, so making their poster look a little bit better, but maybe you have some feedback on their science as well, and we especially encourage our scientists who are judging to include feedback on their science, and then maybe a summary or another positive comment. And so I like to call this the positive feedback sandwich. So you have sort of a positive thing, some suggestions, some constructive criticism or constructive feedback, I'd rather say, and then maybe a summary or another positive thing at the end. And you can see a little visual here of a little positive feedback sandwich. And then, like I mentioned earlier, you also have the option for public feedback using the comment feature on each project. And this might be something like what Chris has done last year, where he asked some questions. So his comment says, "This is a good study on how salinity affecting plant growth. It is a clear result that high soil salinity affected plant growth. This study has very nice experimental design and tested on 4 plant species. Here are my questions. 1, your results have shown that high soil salinity would decrease plant growth rate. What would you suggest to farmers? Should they stop planting plants? And 2, if we would like to predict the plant growth with the amount of soil salinity, how should we conduct our experiment?" Great work. And so Chris has done a really good job of sort of asking these questions that will promote further research within their field. And so these aren't the same project, but just wanted to highlight some really good comments, both anonymous comments and public comments that you might ask or that you might provide. All right, so I'm going to remind you once again of our timeline. So projects and scoring information is going to be emailed out to you all right after this webinar. You have until May 5th to review the projects, fill out that Google form, ask students questions using that public comment box. And on May 5th, all your scores are due. You might hear from me and Sarah before, especially kind of making sure you're getting the scoring done. And on May 17th, we'll provide the scores and feedback to the teachers and the students. We'll post the badges and we'll do a drawing for stipends. And so those stipends are for really well executed projects to attend the annual meeting in Detroit this year. And I just want to thank you all. For those of you who have volunteered to score 3 or more projects, you'll get a badge as well on your My Pages that looks like this. And you'll also get a certificate of thank you. So if you have any questions or concerns, you can reach out to Sarah. You can also reach out to me. And that's really all I have for you. So I'm going to open it up now to questions. So you can either put those in the chat box or you can unmute yourself and ask them in person.
Sarah, or whoever this is, I'm very sorry I missed the first 10 minutes because the link Sarah sent me was not working. I was sent a link that didn't do anything.
Oh, sorry, Dixon.
The first 10 minutes of this, which is pretty frustrating.
I'm sorry. Well, this will be posted to the website after the recording will be posted to the website.
Yep, I guess I'll have to do that.
Yeah, sorry about that, Dixon.
Yeah, hi. This is Eric Brown de Costa at Goddard. I missed the first few slides too. Did you talk about how many projects we were supposed to review each, or whether we would be assigned specific projects?
Yeah, so you'll be based on what feedback you provided to Sarah. So she sent an email asking how many projects you'd like to judge. And so we use that to assign that number of projects to each judge. So if you requested 3, you'll get 3. If you requested more, you'll get more than that.
But as far as like the international ones, for example, I mean, I grew up in South America, so I'd be happy to review some from South America as well. But I mean, we just pick and choose whatever. No,
so let me find that form again, or that slide. So you'll be given projects to score, and you'll get a sheet that looks something like this. And so I'll have each of the projects that you've been assigned. And if you have mentioned when you signed up that you speak another language, then we might have assigned you projects that are in another language. We've got quite a few that were in Croatian and Arabic and Spanish. So if you do speak one of those languages and you
Right.
indicated that, we might have assigned you a project in that other language.
Yeah, I don't know if I did anything in French as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure what projects you specifically have, but if you've indicated another language, we may have assigned you a project in another language.
I think Dixon is fluent in Croatian, aren't you?
No way. If we have a judge who's fluent in Croatian other than a Croatian, I would be amazed.
All the Croatian projects.
Dixon, we gave you all the Croatians because we heard that you were fluent.
Just kidding.
Saw your Duolingo, so.
Amy, this is Peter Falcon. I have
Hi,
a question. What if we receive a project that's from a school that we maybe visited in the past?
Oh, that's a good question. If you have, we'll ask that you email Sarah and let her know, and we might reassign you because we want to keep this, try to eliminate bias as much as possible.
Okay, thank you.
I'll do the same thing if you assign somebody who's a grantee.
Okay, yeah, thanks, Dixon. Ready to come up in the chat? Questions coming up in the chat.
So here's another question then, if nobody's asking questions. So in general, I mean, I did this maybe a couple years ago, and I just know that the projects could be of mixed quality, quote unquote. And some of them where you could sort of tell there had been an adult in the loop kind of editing or reviewing, and some that were obviously just students. Do you have kind of any guidance? I mean, I guess we don't really want to be, I mean, the main point is for them to participate, right? We don't want to be picking, like being really picky on things and having kind of difficult comments like, oh, why, you didn't do this, this, and that, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, it is kind of a mixed bag. Just keep in mind that a lot of these students did hard work, and maybe English isn't the best, or the
Right.
translation wasn't really that great. If it's completely, so hard to understand, just let Sarah know, and she'll maybe assign you a different project. You don't want to be too lenient and give everybody 4 stars. We want to be really keeping those really high scores for those projects that are exceptional. But just keep in mind, we're looking for content rather than
Right.
Okay. Grammar or translation, things like that. And if a teacher's really, you can see a heavy hand with the teacher, maybe make that a note in your feedback, something like that.
And is there any sort of expectation that whatever data they acquired would have been uploaded to the Globe website, or is that not part of the... So in other words, I did this cool project related to Globe, but I didn't really contribute my data.
So they were supposed to contribute their data to Globe. Not all projects did. I would say if they, what we did is we've looked at most of them already. Or Sarah, I should give her credit. Sarah's done a quick look at most of the project to make sure that they had all the required elements. And if they didn't upload the data yet, but they used Globe protocols and they mentioned using Globe protocols, that counts. If they did upload it to Globe, that's even better. That's really the goal here. But we're just looking mostly for the use of Globe data and Globe protocols.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Eric. All right, I see somebody has raised their hand. Do you have a question? You can unmute yourself, or you can, or I'll unmute you, or you can type it in the chat.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Good evening. Hello.
Hi. How you doing?
I'm fine. This is Abiodun calling from Nigeria.
Hi. Welcome.
It's already 5:30 p.m. in Nigeria.
Wow.
So that's why I said good evening to you all. Please, I just want to ask a question concerning the issue of conflict of interest. If there is, have you taken it into consideration? Like if you have somebody that is related to the project under consideration in any way. So have you addressed the issue of conflict of interest in the judging process?
Yeah, so we've tried to eliminate that. So Sarah has gone through and tried to assign judges to different regions or looked at if there was additional contributors to try to eliminate that. But, you know, if there is something, if you were accidentally assigned a project of a student or a school that you know, please let Sarah know as soon as possible so we can reassign those. But we've tried to consider that when assigning judges to eliminate that.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, any more questions?
I wanted to also add to that question about data. We always run our schools through, Travis Anderson here does that, and he makes sure they've entered data in the past year or so. So all the schools are in this that in order to be eligible for the drawing, for example, they've had to have entered data in the past year.
Thanks, Julie. Yeah. Good point.
Hello? Hello?
Hi.
Oui, bonsoir.
Who's speaking?
No. I speak French.
Oh, I'm sorry, I don't.
Hello?
Hi.
Hello?
Can you write your question? We could translate it.
Pouvez-vous écrire la question?
D'accord, j'ai écrit la question. D'accord, c'est bon.
Hello, Amy.
Hi.
Sarah, can you hear me?
Yes,
This
we
is
can hear you.
Marufa. This is Marufa from Nepal.
Hi.
So, as a GISN member, does GLOBE require us to present in our own country, or can I be located in any country really? And also, as my judge responsibilities, like, do I have to like, is there any requirement? Like, I have to do certain things this way or that, or is it more like international position? It's more like global. That's my first question. And second question, I saw in a webinar, I can have 50 student accounts under GLOBE platform. So is it, it could be in any country. And also what would be the, like, can I provide them by their name? And if I want to have one on my name, can I have it? Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Some wonderful things you're doing. And I'm really excited about GLOBE program. Yesterday, I attended a conference, a young scientist conference in Nepal, and I presented about GLOBE work. And everybody really appreciated that. They were asking me questions. So thank you.
Thank you, Marufa. So let me answer your first question about the GISN. So it's not a requirement that GISN members judge, but we definitely would like it if GISN members judge projects. And you won't be given any special projects or anything like that. It'll just be the same as everyone else. But please, I still am asking people to fill out their GISN members to fill out that annual participation form. So if you're a GISN member, you'll know what I'm talking about. You filled it out last year. And you can indicate that you've scored projects and that will qualify you to remain at the GISN. So this is a really great way to fulfill that GISN requirement, but it's not required. And as a member, you don't have any special, you don't have to do anything special for it. And so for your second question, maybe you can ask it again. I think I've forgotten it. Short attention span. Marufa?
Yes, Amy. Hello.
Hi. I forget your question. Your second question. I want to make sure I address that as well.
Second question is about as a Globe member, I can have 50 accounts. I can have probably 50 students for my projects. For example, let's say I have 4 projects, international projects, one in Bangladesh, one in Nepal, one in Hawaii, something like that. So can I choose my students and include them, keep building my platform? Like, is it the way it goes, or what are is there any like, to use Globe account?
Yeah, so I think I understand your question. So if you have students that are entering or that are submitting projects, it's fine if they submit it from anywhere, or if you have uploaded projects for students, that we care about where the students are from. So if your student is from Hawaii, they would upload it as a US project, for example.
Okay.
But there's no limit to, where you can submit it from. And when you're asking questions, you'll use your Globe account. So the same account that you have for the GISN, say, that's what you'll want to be writing comments under with that account.
Is everybody still? I'm not using that account. Is it too late to use? I use my hawaii.edu and sometimes my personal Gmail, but we can open it now.
Yeah, I would just make sure you have a Globe account. If you have any issues, you'll want to email help@globe.gov, and okay. I've mentioned that, or after this webinar, I'll post this webinar on the website, on the IVSS website, and you can find any of that information that I mentioned on that recording. Okay.
And probably this is the last question. Sorry for taking too much time.
That's all right.
Okay. So as a judge, I can judge like as many I want. Like if it could be like 5 or 10, if I like it really, or.
So we ask that you just judge the ones that we've assigned you. So if you have indicated that you're interested in judging 5 or 10, and we've assigned you that many, and so that would be you have indicated this to Sarah maybe a week or so ago or longer. And
I told Sarah,
through and assigned judges to different projects. And so you'll get a sheet that has all the projects that we would like you to judge.
Okay, awesome.
So please don't do it randomly.
Okay, thank you.
You.
Yeah, I think I told probably, because to earn a certificate, probably at least 3 projects you have to judge. Then you get probably a certificate or something.
That's right. You'll get a badge and a certificate if you judge 3.
Okay. Thank you.
How many projects did we receive?
We received 210.
Wonderful.
Yes.
And all of those met the data reporting requirement and things like that?
We received 240, and 210 passed all the requirements.
Got it.
Yeah, and from all 6 regions as well.
Excellent. By the way, I could not translate the French question. I mean, my French is sort of rudimentary. And there's at least one word in it I couldn't translate, so I don't know exactly what's being asked.
Yeah, I tried to Google Translate to help Feed LA, and I haven't seen a response yet, but I did the best that I could for now.
Okay, thank you.
Any last questions? And just a reminder, I will be posting the slides and the webinar recording on the IVSS website later today. And you're welcome to email me or Sarah if you come up with any more questions later on. And please look in your inbox later today with the judging information and access to the judging sheets and all that information.
Hello, and Sarah, where do we pick up our badging or our judge badges?
Those will be posted to your My Pages.
Oh yeah, we do get some. All right.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We'll post those for you.
And NASA stickers and like all kinds of goodies.
So you'll just get a badge and a certificate emailed to you.
All right, thank you. Look forward to it.
Hello, Sarah or Amy?
Hi, Marufa, yes.
So if a student, for example, undergraduate student or 10th grade, if they work, if they submit a GLOBE project or they work for some of my project or initiatives, they're interested under GLOBE platform, they can they mention it in their resume, or can they, you know, present it to others and share it that they work in this GLOBE platform? And is it like under NASA, or what is, how can they explain it like in a brief, like what is this platform about? Like, can they mention in their resume? This is my first question. And overall, yes.
Yes, absolutely. We definitely encourage them to mention this, and especially if they would like to participate year after year, they can continue to build on their research. So they can absolutely mention that they've participated, and I would call it the GLOBE International Virtual Science Symposium.
Okay.
And just to remind you, once again, we will be emailing you with the projects that we want you to judge. So you'll get that sheet that has which projects we are asking you to judge, and all the information and links to important information later today or tomorrow.
So this virtual symposium, this is virtual, of course, but this could be also like real. Like they can, I mean, probably, I mean, they'll be doing this project in real time, right?
Yeah. So students have created these projects the same way you might for an in-person science fair, and they're submitting it virtually for feedback from judges. And so the feedback that you provide can be very helpful, because the students may use that feedback to improve their project and then bring these projects to an in-person science fair or present them maybe at the annual meeting in Detroit. So feedback is really excellent way for them to help grow as scientists.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for all the questions. They're great.
Oh, thanks. You're welcome.
All right, well, I'm going to log off. Please, if you have any more questions, feel free to email Sarah or I, and keep an eye out in your inbox for that email and on the IVSS webpage for more information. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you.